There is subtle irritation in your presence that feels like sand stuck between my teeth, uncomfortable and impossible to ignore. Sometimes the smallest things you do ripple through me, setting off a storm I didn't expect to weather. You don't mean to, but your words echo in my mind long after you're gone. Rattling my calm, I try to breathe through the irritation, but it clings to me like a shadow I can't shake. You get on my nerves because you're unpredictable, like a flickering light that keeps me on edge. I want to tell you to stop, but the truth is I'm not sure you even see what you're doing. Sometimes your presence feels like static noise in the background of my mind, annoying yet familiar. I'm learning to love the parts of you that irritate me because they're part of the whole picture. There's a tension between us that's both exhausting and strangely compelling. You test my limits, not because you want to break me, but because you don't know any other way. The friction between us is a quiet reminder that love isn't always soft and easy. You push buttons I didn't even know I had, and suddenly everything feels fragile. It's frustrating how you get under my skin, yet I can't imagine a life without you. I sometimes wonder if this irritation is just love disguised in a sharper form. You get on my nerves, but I hold on to the hope that patience will bring understanding. The way you unsettle me is a reflection of how much I care, more than I'm willing to admit. Every little annoyance from you is like a test of how strong our connection really is. I want to scream, but I silence myself because the love is louder than the frustration. You're like a thorn in my side, painful but part of the flower I'm trying to nurture. I'm caught in the push and pull, wanting closeness but feeling the irritation you bring. You get on my nerves because you're real, messy, and imperfect, just like me. You challenge my peace, but you also challenge me to grow beyond it. Your presence is a test of my ability to forgive, to understand, and to hold on. I'm tired of the irritation, but I'm even more tired of the thought of losing you. You don't realize the effect you have on me, how every careless move unsettles my soul. The way you get on my nerves sometimes feels like a secret language between us, complicated and raw. I'm learning that sometimes love means tolerating the parts that get on your nerves the most. The tension between us is real, but so is the bond that keeps pulling me back. You're like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit, but somehow I can't imagine this picture without you. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, trying not to crack under your weight. Your quirks frustrate me, but they're also the colors that paint our shared story. You push me to my edge, and yet I keep reaching out to hold you. I'm learning patience in the moments when you get on my nerves the most. You unsettle my calm, but you also remind me that love is never simple or easy. Sometimes, the smallest things you do make the biggest ripples in my peace. I want to hold on to the good between us, even when irritation clouds my vision. You get on my nerves, but maybe that's part of what makes this so real and raw. You test my boundaries daily, but I'm still here, holding on tighter than ever. The irritation is a sign that you matter more than I let on. Even when you push me to frustration, I remember why I chose you. Your presence stirs a storm inside me, a mix of love, irritation, and everything in between. I'm learning to breathe through the moments when you drive me crazy. You get on my nerves, but I won't let that be the story of us. Sometimes I wish you'd see how much your actions ripple through my heart. The friction we share is uncomfortable, but also undeniable proof of our connection. You get on my nerves, but you also bring me moments of joy I can't explain. I'm learning to hold space for both the irritation and the love you inspire. You push my buttons, and I push back, but love keeps us tied together. Even in frustration, I find pieces of you I adore. You get on my nerves because you challenge me, and I'm secretly grateful for that. Our imperfections clash, but that's what makes this story ours. You unsettle me, but you also awaken parts of me I didn't know existed. Sometimes, the best love stories are messy, frustrating, and full of tension. You get on my nerves, but you also get deep into my soul. I'm learning that irritation and love are sometimes two sides of the same coin. There's a tension in the air every time you speak, like 1,000 tiny needles prickling my skin, reminding me how deeply you're getting on my nerves. You don't even realize it, but every careless word, every glance, it builds like static electricity inside me until I can barely stand it anymore. I've tried to ignore it, to push it down, but your presence triggers something inside me that refuses to calm down. It's strange how someone can be so close yet make you feel so far from peace. Your energy is like a storm I can't escape. When you're near, my patience runs thin like worn-out rope ready to snap because you're getting on my nerves in ways I can't explain. Maybe it's your smile or the way you interrupt, but something about you just sets every nerve on edge and I don't know how to stop feeling it. It's not hate, it's not anger. It's a restless discomfort that your presence stirs, a reminder that sometimes love can feel like friction. Every interaction feels like a test of how much I can tolerate before I lose myself in irritation. You get on my nerves not because you want to, but because sometimes the people we care about the most push our limits without meaning to. You're like a persistent song stuck on repeat, invading my mind and refusing to let go, no matter how much I try to change the channel. I wish I could say I'm indifferent, but every word from you is like a spark threatening to ignite a fire I don't want to burn. There's something about your careless actions that digs deep into my peace, making every calm moment feel like a battle zone. I don't want to hate you, yet you somehow test every ounce of my patience like you're unknowingly wielding a weapon. Sometimes, I wonder if you know the power you have to unsettle me, or if it's all just unconscious. Chaos you bring, you're like a storm on a quiet day, unpredictable, loud, and impossible to ignore. The sound of your voice, once comforting, now echoes as a reminder of every irritation that's piled up inside me. How do I explain that your presence unsettles me without breaking the fragile bond we have? You don't have to mean harm for your words to cut deep. Sometimes it's the smallest things that get under my skin. I'm caught between caring for you and feeling utterly drained by the friction that grows between us. Even the silence between us feels heavy, weighted by the irritation you unknowingly sow. You get on my nerves in a way that feels like a warning, like a signal that something needs to change. It's exhausting to want peace but only find chaos whenever you're near. Your presence pulls at my nerves like threads in a delicate fabric, threatening to unravel what we've built. I find myself bracing for the next moment. You'll push me just a little too far. There's a fine line between frustration and love, and you seem to dance dangerously close to it. You irritate me not because I don't care, but because I care so deeply that every flaw feels magnified. Every sigh, every eye roll, every careless word chips away at the calm I'm desperately holding on to. You're like a puzzle I can't solve. Beautifulness that somehow leaves me frazzled. Sometimes I wonder if you're aware how much you rattle me, or if it's all just invisible to you. You get on my nerves because you challenge the boundaries I thought were unbreakable. There's a storm beneath my calm exterior, stirred up by every careless moment we share. I want to scream, but I hold it inside, because hurting you would hurt me more. You're a test of my limits, my patience, and my ability to forgive. Even in silence, your energy is loud enough to get under my skin. You frustrate me because I see the parts of you that don't fit with my peace. Every time you cross that line, a little part of my calm shatters and takes time to rebuild. You have this unique power to unsettle me without even trying. My nerves aren't broken. They're just tired of the constant friction you bring. I love you, but sometimes I need space to heal from the irritation you cause. It's not easy to admit that the one closest to me is also the one who tests me most. You're a beautiful challenge, but sometimes I wonder if I'm strong enough to keep up. The tension between us is real, like a dance on a wire that we both fear to fall from. You get on my nerves because you touch parts of me that are raw and unhealed. There's a quiet storm every time we clash, but I still hope for calm after the rain. I'm Learning that love isn't just comfort. It's also navigating through moments that get on your nerves. You test my boundaries, and sometimes I don't know if I should push back or let go. Sometimes your words are like a buzzing in my ear. I can't turn off, no matter how much I try. You get on my nerves not because you want to, but because you reveal my deepest vulnerabilities. Every little thing you do feels like a ripple that unsettles the stillness I crave. You don't realize how your presence tightens the strings of my patience to their breaking point. Sometimes I wish you'd just pause and see the chaos your carelessness brings to my calm. You get on my nerves like a song stuck in my head. I can't stop thinking about you, even when I want to. The tension between us is a silent battle I fight every time we're near. I'm tired of feeling unsettled, but I'm even more tired of imagining a life without you. You challenge the peace I hold inside, making every quiet moment feel fragile and fleeting. It's strange how the one who gets on your nerves the most can also be your greatest comfort. You stir up emotions in me that leave me restless and craving more understanding. Every careless word from you is like a stone tossed into the calm waters of my mind. You get on my nerves because you make me confront the parts of myself I try to hide. Sometimes your presence feels like a storm that shakes the foundations of my calm. I wish you could see how much your actions ripple through my heart, leaving traces I can't erase. You unsettle me in ways I don't understand, but maybe that's where growth begins. The frustration you cause is a mirror reflecting how deeply I care. You get on my nerves, but you also remind me that love is never simple or easy. Every irritation is a small test of how much love can survive the noise. I am learning that patience isn't just about waiting, it's about understanding. The storm you bring, you get on my nerves because you push me to confront my own imperfections. Sometimes I feel like I'm walking a tightrope between love and frustration. Your presence is a complicated melody, sometimes dissonant, sometimes beautiful. I hate how you get on my nerves, but I love the way you make me feel alive. You test the limits of my calm, but you also deepen the roots of my affection. The irritation isn't a sign to give up. It's a call to grow together. You get on my nerves in ways that challenge me to be better, stronger, and more patient. I'm caught between wanting distance and wanting to hold you closer than ever. Your quirks frustrate me, but they also make our story uniquely ours. Every moment of irritation is a thread woven into the fabric of our love. You get on my nerves, but you also get to the core of who I am. I'm learning to embrace the tension because it means we're still trying. You push me to my edge, and yet I keep reaching out to hold you. Even in frustration, I find pieces of you that I adore. You unsettle my calm, but you also awaken parts of me I didn't know existed. Sometimes, the best love stories are messy, frustrating, and full of tension. You get on my nerves, but you also get deep into my soul. I am learning that irritation and love are sometimes two sides of the same coin. Your presence is like a puzzle I'm still trying to solve, frustrating but worth every effort. I want to love you without the irritation, but they seem forever entwined. You get on my nerves, but you also remind me why I fell in love. The friction between us fuels a fire that's both dangerous and beautiful. I'm learning that love is less about perfection and more about weathering storms. You push my buttons, and I push back, but love keeps us tied together. Even in frustration, I find pieces of you I cherish. You test my patience, but you also teach me forgiveness. You get on my nerves, but that's just love's complicated dance. The irritation you cause is a small price to pay for the depth of what we share. I'm learning to breathe through the moments when you drive me crazy. You get on my nerves, but I won't let that define us. Sometimes, the smallest things you do leave the biggest impressions. You challenge my calm, but you also deepen my love. I am caught in the tension between wanting peace and wanting you. You get on my nerves, but I hold on because you're worth it. The friction between us is uncomfortable but real. I'm learning that love includes the parts that irritate me. You get on my nerves, but that's part of what makes us real.